Hi, everyone. Welcome to Variety's screening series presented by the all-new Toyota Mirai. My name is Janelle Riley, and I'm joined here today by one of the stars of The Little Things. Today's guest is an Academy Award-winning actor and musician currently starring in The Little Things, for which he has already received Golden Globe and SAG Award nominations. Please welcome Jared Leto. Thank you so much for being here.
Crickets.
They're clapping at home. There's a standing ovation at home. You just can't see it.
Thanks so much for having me. I appreciate it. It's yeah. It's funny. I was thinking when you were like talking about me in front of me, just how crazy this business is, and how, I mean, you just never know what's going to happen. You never know. And I mean, with your own career, with other people's careers, with your choices, with the work, it's every time out, it's a surprise. And even with little things, I was psyched at the opportunity to work with this incredible group of people. Um, and I dove in and really, wanted to do the best job that I could. But you never know how things are going to turn out. But the experience on this one was incredible. It was really just a beautiful thing.
And people have really been loving the character of Albert Sparma, who may or may not be a serial killer. Has it surprised you that people have been so drawn to this character in this story?
Yeah, it has. I mean, I'm surprised. I'm just happy that people watch the film, to be honest. I mean, sometimes you kill yourself on a film and it doesn't find an audience. I mean, even John Lee Hancock made a beautiful movie called The Founder, and it wasn't really widely seen or embraced, but it's a terrific movie. Michael Keaton is just a fantastic performance, and that's actually how I ended up meeting John Lee Hancock, because I think I wrote him an email or something. We ended up meeting, and then he, called me up and say, "Hey, I think I have something that we could do together." And uh, so, yeah, I'm happy that people are enjoying Mr. Albert Sparma and all of his idiosyncrasies. That's a nice thing.
You mentioned John Lee Hancock, who is actually one of my favorite filmmakers. I don't think I've ever not liked a movie he made. But when he originally approached you about this role, did you have any hesitation?
It's a good question. Yeah, I did have some hesitation. I'd kind of danced on the darker side of the moon a bit in my life and career. So I thought maybe this isn't the right thing for me to do. Uh, but with Denzel and then Rami and John Lee and Mark Johnson and just this terrific group of people that he put together, I just couldn't say no.
Mm.
And I mean, just to talk about Mr. Denzel Washington for a second, he is just, I mean, he may be the best. He's certainly one of the best, and the other best are just kind of different. There's nobody that are, in that level. It's not like people are better than others. They're just different. And for me, he's just been a huge inspiration in my career. I look at the scope of work that he's done over his life, and it's just phenomenal. The fact that he carries these films, first of all, he puts his body, his heart, his soul into every performance that he does, and he never lets you down. He never, ever lets his audience down. It doesn't matter if the film doesn't work, you always get you some Denzel and you're happy about it, You just want to spend time watching him do whatever he wants to do, really. So for me, it was a dream to work with him. I remember seeing him kind of walk across the set that first day, and and hearing him speak. He's got a voice for the ages, and it was a master class in acting. So I was in awe and still am in awe of him. And then you have Rami Malek, who is just this, upstart, just a killer, and super bright guy, super charismatic guy. I think had the hardest role in the film. That to me, when I read the script, I was like, "Ooh, this is tough." And he really just was such an incredible partner. He gave me so much support and patience is what you need around Albert Sparma as well, because he's a wild card. Uh, you know, he's like a little puppy that just doesn't stop jumping on you and the furniture and everything else. But Rami was great, and then the director, all three of them gave me the gift of a lifetime, and it was an unspoken gesture, but you could feel it nonetheless. They gave me the gift of their confidence in
Mm.
me, their faith in me, that I could pull this off. And that support was felt amongst the three of us in the scenes, and it created really a beautiful atmosphere where you could fail and you could experiment, you could try things out, you could reach a little bit further than maybe you normally would. So you didn't feel like you had to protect yourself, but it was quite a beautiful experience. It actually changed the way that I look at the process quite a bit.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm curious because you seem to be very selective about your roles. You have a really good track record in film, and part of that is because I don't think you say yes to everything. So, what does generally attract you to a part? Is it the filmmaker, the cast, the subject, or does it vary from film to film?
I've never been in a race to make the most films. I really and not I mean, I think there probably is some great value to be had by making a lot of films, to be honest. It's like anything else. The more time that you spend with it, the more you inevitably learn, the more you succeed, the more you fail, and it's just probably a good process. But I think the subject matter and the roles, first of all, they take a lot out of you. So by the time I'm done with a film, I need enough time to forget that, forget the uh, the trauma that I put myself through, so that I'm ready to do it again. I also have music in my life, so I am fortunate to have another love that I can spend time with, and I learn a lot from that, and then I bring it back. But there was about 6 years that I didn't make a film, and I didn't know if I would actually. I mean, honestly, I really wasn't gonna come back. Uh, I was grateful and I appreciated it, but and then Dallas Buyers Club came along.
Hmm.
So yeah, and I'm glad that it did. It was a gift.
You mentioned how it was, sort of fun to play with these actors, and I mean this as respect to John Lee Hancock. I mean it as a compliment when I say some of these scenes feel very loose and improvised. Was there any improvisation on set?
It's a good question. Only a writer has the confidence that John Lee has to say, I'm going to hire these actors and then I'm going to trust in their process and support them. And he's just smart enough to know sometimes you got to throw something away to find something else. And, he brought this character, he put it on the page. He put this character on the page. He birthed all of these characters and this amazing story. He wrote it, like 20 something, 30 years ago or something like that, something crazy in the 90s. I guess when he wrote it, it wasn't a period piece, and now it is, which is pretty wild. But he wrote it when I first moved to LA, so I remember this time period. It was a different city. It was a little bit more haunted, a little bit more empty, a little bit more. You could get lost in a way,
Hmm.
uh, and not just because you didn't have your Thomas guide. You could get lost in other ways. Remember those things? You have
Oh
the
my God,
little
they were
Thomas
terrible.
guide. It was like always like full, then it starts ripping. I think they came up with a way that it would for sure just rip after a certain point. So you had to buy a new one. You know,
I
but
actually couldn't get
you
those
know,
to work because it'd be like, go to page 500,
yeah.
go to A7, and I'd be like,
Yeah,
How does that
like
help
putting
you?
the kids these days. I want to. They should do something on TikTok where kids like look at a map and they're like,
Yeah.
"What is this?" Anyway, so uh, yeah, John Lee Hancock. It felt improvisatory because at least my scenes were very much so, but always followed the narrative that John Lee set up. I mean, we didn't, it wasn't a runaway train, and I think that's the danger sometimes with improvisation is that you can lose the plot.
Mhm.
Um, and honestly, it might work if there's an anchor of someone in this scene who's maybe a little bit more of the anchor uh, that keep things on the rails. But John was great. John Lee just believed in us and really kind of took off the cuffs, and it was great to get in the ring with a pro like Denzel and Rami, and I think we were all excited at the possibilities. And I'm super grateful that I was part of this film. I'm really glad that I had the opportunity.
At the same time, Albert spends the movie antagonizing Denzel and Rami's characters. So, I don't know if you stay in character, if they stay in character, but did you really get to spend time with them, or was it sort of like you met them after the movie was over?
It was more the latter, and I think it was the right choice because we didn't waste any energy on small talk. We saved it all for the scenes. So we kind of got to know each other through our characters. And it just built up this energy so that when the cameras were rolling, it was, like I said before, it was just explosive and you could feel it. So I think it was the right decision to kind of keep our distance. But there was a lot of respect and support, and the energy was great. And yeah, it was just a really good creative environment.
Can I help you?
Saw the for sale sign.
That was for another car.
Got a lot of miles on it. You a salesman?
No.
How's the trunk space?
Standard.
Mind if I take a look? I'm in the market.
It's not for sale.
All I need to do is take a look.
You must really like my car.
I do.
How did you prepare to play this character, both mentally, because you mentioned it can take a lot out of you, but also physically, because you look different in this film?
Yeah, it's a transformation from head to toe. We had I had different color eyes, different nose, different cheeks. I had different some other prosthetics and different teeth, a different way of talking, a different way of walking, moving my body, carrying myself, and it's a sense of humor that was very unique, and uh, that took its kind of own path of preparation and research, just like how would he look at the world? What are his reference points? Whether it's, a love for tacos or potato skins or something, even those little things say a lot about the character. Um, and I was joking with the director that they maybe should do a Sparma Plus uh, cut of the film, because there's a lot on the cutting room floor that is quite outrageous, and I think it'd be a lot of fun to share with people. So, when you do this sort of thing, Albert is a crime buff. He knows a lot about crime, so you study crime. You study the specific sorts of crimes that he's interested in. You know about detectives. You spend time with detectives. You spend time with criminologists. You spend time, reading FBI transcripts. You look at documentaries. You educate yourself as much as possible, and in the hopes that it helps out the development of character or a scene or an idea. And so you just dive in, you go down the rabbit hole, and I actually enjoy that process a lot. I'm really curious about people, and I love to learn, and it's fun to kind of sculpt a person to life and put that person on the screen. Uh, but yeah, it was interesting. Very physical character, very physical transformation, and yeah, it was a fun one.
The prosthetics are so good that I knew something was going on, but it wasn't until you actually said what it was that it even occurred to me that you were using prosthetics. Is that a process that you discussed with John Lee Hancock? Do you sort of do that on your own and then say, what do you think of this?
Well, it wasn't in the script. I mean, when you look at Sparma, the fun thing about Albert Sparma is that, you could get 10 different actors to read the script, and you're going to get 10 very different performances. There were a couple of keywords, like I think he said there was something, not serpentine, but he used a similar word, snake-like, in the script. And there were a couple little clues like that, but no, there was nothing about prosthetics. I just wanted to push into a different direction. I wanted to explore physical transformation quite a bit and to see what was possible. There's really exciting things happening in the world of prosthetics these days. There are really, I think, groundbreaking things that are happening, and that you know uh, kind of allow us to believe a little bit more and what's going on. And when you do those sort of things, it can help trigger a different creative idea. So it's really fun. I mean, on one hand, it's like just kind of dressing up for Halloween in a weird way. You know how fun that is? Like, who doesn't like that? Along with this other serious side of like research and emotional stuff. But, you always keep that fun, exciting improvisation, kind of like Halloween is a big improvisation. You dress up like whatever your favorite thing is, and you go out, or you're joking with your friends, and it brings out a different side of you. Um, and yeah, so that's yeah.
Speaking of Halloween, what's it like to see yourself as an action figure and people playing you, like playing the Joker? Or maybe we'll see some Albert Sparmas this year.
That's really funny that you say that, because I thought about that the other day. I said that I was talking with someone. I said, I wonder, it would be really wild to see someone dressed up as Sparma walking down the street. And it would be great because it would mean we're out of COVID and people are celebrating. And you could be in, West Hollywood, and there's a Sparma walking down the street. I guarantee it's going to happen. Maybe at a Comic-Con or something. I don't know. But I'd love to see people's interpretations, and I think it's a great compliment if people are doing that. Of course, with the Joker, it's obvious that people do that kind of thing, and yeah, it's a lot of fun.
I would love to see Sparma as the Joker because I bet he's a fan.
Oh yeah, that's a good one too. That's a wild meta proposition, like a character on a character. But seeing the two of them in a scene would be that would be really fun. Oh, I would shoot that. If there are any directors out there that want to do a scene, I mean, I don't know, that would be great. They're sitting across the table from each other, like Dennis Hopper and Christopher Walken in True Romance. They can have this just like mano kind of dialogue. Um, yeah, that would be great. Sparma versus Joker.
You're giving this away for free. We need to tell people to contact you for rights to this.
By the way, the whole interview is like nothing else is gonna matter now. It's just gonna be Sparma versus Joker.
Gonna come in?
11 more, you can make a calendar. Oh, hey, stranger. Tired of steaming up that glass? Desi's.
Oh, yeah.
This is the part where I start feeling like it's a trap.
Open it up, find out.
It's not a pair of mittens.
Go on, take a look. You know you want to.
You know, when you put so much research into a character, do you get to repurpose that research? Like you've played Mark David Chapman, you know, does that help you inform Albert Sparma? Although, once again, I have to reiterate, we don't know if Sparma is a killer or not.
Yeah, I mean that's one of the things that's very unclear, and I think that is what makes it a bit of a conversation piece. Um, and you know, when you make a film and you work really hard on it, I mean, I guess you learn some things and you apply parts of like, oh, what was a successful process? And then you throw out things like, well, I didn't need to do that. That wasn't worth kind of my time. So I don't need to do that for another character as far as like the process goes. And, you know, I think you get more comfortable. It takes a long time just to get, I remember hearing Michael Douglas say this like 20 years ago. He's like, it takes 10 years just to get comfortable in front of the camera, enough where you can actually, you know, not be freaking out. Yes, you can get lucky. Yes, you can be great. Yes, you can just be so talented that you're good no matter what. But I think for the average person, it takes a long time just to not feel a pressure when that giant camera starts rolling and there's 200 people on a set and it's like, can you cry now? You know, it can be intimidating. So I think, you know, that does take some time, and so the repetition and making films and sticking around for a little while is a big benefit.
Albert does enjoy sort of toying with this perception. He actually encourages people to think that he is a killer. And even though the film doesn't give any definitive answers, have people been asking you, did you and John have a discussion about what the truth was?
You know, John left it up to me. John Lee Hancock said, you know, you can decide, which is great because now I have to live with this. People are going to be asking me this question ad infinitum. And the same with Blade Runner. Denis told me that I could decide whether Deckard, whether you know, that character. There's a big conversation if Harrison Ford's character is a replicant or not. And since I look into his mind, I know. So, you know, he always said that, you know, you can decide. So now I have these two, I have this information from these two films.
So what do you think? Is he a replicant?
You know, I can't tell you that.
Like I thought I was going to trip you up or something.
You know, good
Just
try.
blink twice for yes.
Good try.
It froze just now, so that looked like a yes to me.
Uh-oh.
No. What did end up being the biggest challenge of making this film? And you know, it can be something emotional, something logistical. You know, it always surprises me. Sometimes it's the things that would seem simplest that can be the most difficult.
You know, the most difficult part of it was I enjoyed most of the preparation and the research, and you know, and even the filming is usually the least exciting part for me personally, which sounds odd, but I did enjoy the actual shooting because usually it's so limited. People don't understand. Most of the people watching this will understand, but when you make a film, you know, you spend months making the film, but you're actually acting. I mean, I don't know how many hours it would be at the end of a film, but it's not that long.
Yeah.
A lot of it is the preparation, and there's a great deal of that I enjoy, fortunately. And on this one, you know, I enjoyed the shooting, filming, the improvisation, the ad lib, the challenge. The hardest thing for me personally are night shoots.
Mm.
but again, it can be fun too, because you're like, you're out late at night, you're in a unique place. And, we were out in the desert shooting nights. It was freezing cold. We're all like, pretending not to be cold. The camera roll. Okay. But making movies, there are more challenging things to do in the world. Um, and I'm like pretty aware how lucky I am to be able to do all this.
And we're only, 2-3 months into 2021. You have a really cool year. You have The Little Things, you have Zack Snyder's Justice League coming up in just like a couple weeks, I think. And you're playing Morbius, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, and on top of it, I'm leaving just in a couple of days to go to Italy to join Ridley Scott and Al Pacino and Jeremy Irons and Lady Gaga in the Gucci film, and playing Paolo Gucci. And then after that, am doing in this project with Apple. So in a full year, really excited about it. Great characters. Again, transformative parts. It should be a lot of fun.
I can tell you're preparing for a role now because you're holding a highlighter. You must be working on a script.
Oh yeah. We are actually preparing, and you know, really in the kind of the middle of the prep phase right now, working with prosthetics and again wig and other stuff, just getting ready. I'm working on lines and dialect and accent and practicing Italian and all of that. So yeah.
I'm so excited for Morbius. Oh, here's another idea for a two for interrogation scene. Morbius and the Joker. Who wins in a fight?
Oh yeah, that's a good one too. Morbius. I love Morbius. I'm really excited about this character in this film. It's just a big, fun popcorn movie, and I hope it's the type of movie you want to go see in theaters. And I'm excited. It comes out January 22, which seems like forever ago, but it's really time flies. Um, uh, I'm excited for this one. It's a big, fun action adventure, really different. A character's never been on screen before. So yeah, that should be a fun one.
I didn't realize it was almost a year away. I thought it would be in the next few months, but
Yeah. It was supposed to be, but it was going to be March. But I'm so glad that we moved it. I mean, could you imagine if it was in theaters in 2 weeks? And not ready yet. We need time to make sure it's safe for everybody.
well, the good news is you can see the little things now everywhere. It's such a subversive film. I kept trying to figure out what was going on the whole time, and I couldn't. And I so appreciate that. You're so fantastic in it. Thank you so much for joining us today.
My absolute pleasure. Good to see you again. Thank you. And everybody stay safe and sound. And here's to 21.